Now we interrupt your regular viewing program to bring you these news items.
Hello and welcome to Shifty Crab News Break, where we just give you a pinch of the week's gaming news and discuss all the games we can't wait to get our claws on. I'm your host today, Terry Jeffs, and I'm joined by the PlayStation 5 hunter, Adam Very. How are you, Adam?
I'm good, Terry. Thanks. How are you?
I am good. I am looking forward to discussing some news, which today we are going to be discussing Nintendo Switch sales overtaking the 3DS, Embracer acquiring Gearbox Software, and all the new juicy Xbox Game Pass games coming, and also a little Lego gaming edition that I'd like to speak about at the end of the show. But before that, I'd like to discuss the supply-constrained PS5 selling 4.5 million units as Sony predicts the highest ever profit. This is from Eurogamer, and this article is from Wesley Yin-Paul. The PlayStation 5 has sold 4.5 million units, Sony has announced. It's an impressive figure for the supply-constrained console, which was released in November 2020 amid the coronavirus pandemic. The sales figure, accurate as of 31st December 2020, is roughly in line with the launch sales of the PlayStation 4 at the same point in its life. But it's worth noting, demand for the PlayStation 5 has heavily outstripped supply, and it remains out of stock at a raft of retailers who have faced trouble with scalpers and bots. Adam, you know too well about this issue.
I really do.
Sony said it's on track to sell over 7.6 PlayStation 5 units by the end of its current fiscal year, 31st of March 2021. The hope is PS5 shipments will surpass the PS4 sales over this initial launch period to become the biggest console launch of all time. During its Q3 2020 financial report issued this morning, Sony confirmed astonishing sales success, mainly due to the ongoing financial performance of its PlayStation business. Its game and network services division saw its best ever quarter, with revenue up 40% year on year to 883.2 billion yen, or 6.1 billion pounds. Operating income profit was up nearly 50% to 80.2 billion yen, 559 million pounds. So crazy figures here. It goes on to list in the rest of the article. Insomniac's Spider-Man Miles Morales has sold 4.1 million copies. For context, predecessor Spider-Man has sold 13.2 million copies as of the end of July 2019. PlayStation Plus now has 47.4 million subscribers, up from the 45.9 million Sony reported at the end of September 2020. PlayStation Network now has 114 million monthly active users, up from the 108 million reported in the previous quarter. The PlayStation 4 sold 1.4 million units during Q3, down from 6 million the previous year. That decline is to be expected as the world moves on to PlayStation 5. And Sony is aiming to sell more than 14.8 million PlayStation 5 in its next fiscal year, which would be more than the number of PlayStation 4s shipped during its second year. But the company is facing a chip shortage that could hamper manufacturing. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy numbers, given the pandemic and everything that's against them right now, still selling like absolute hotcakes. What do you think of that, Adam? What do you think of those figures?
Well, firstly, I have to applaud you for getting through all those figures, because
that was a lot of numbers.
Yeah. So, well, it's not a surprise that Sony's doing well. I think it's a surprise how well they're doing, considering the circumstances they're working with the pandemic, with supply shortages of the chip, I believe it was. I can't remember, is it Intel? I can't remember who makes the chip that's come out and said, we're going to have shortages throughout the rest of the year, pretty much. Yeah. So I always thought that they would do better than Microsoft at the beginning of this launch, purely because I think they have a stronger product to start with gaming-wise. I do think that Microsoft will come back stronger a little bit later when you finally get Halos released and a Forza game and some of their new IPs that are obviously console specific for them. But yeah, hats off to Sony. Like they are smashing it. Every console release, really, they always improve on those numbers. It shows that there's a lot of faith in the product, which I think is a big thing. Sony usually deliver good quality games, and like I said, I think that makes more sense to start with to go to Sony because they're going to have those IPs a little bit quicker. And then I think Xbox is a little bit behind on that and will start to pick up steam maybe next year. It makes sense as well that their digital side, PlayStation Plus, is improved numbers because obviously new launch, most people will have got PlayStation Plus to take advantage of the previous console games. I remember they released was it like the PlayStation Experience or something like that, where you could play the top games from the PlayStation 4 on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I think it's the PlayStation Plus collection, I think.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. And so that makes sense. It makes sense that those numbers have gone up as well. It gives people things to play, and people that maybe hadn't played them because they're on Xbox for the last console and have now moved over to PlayStation. So
yeah, it was a good move.
Yeah, it's a good move. And as well in the UK, a lot of people were buying the bundles which came with PlayStation Plus on a voucher, so you could, that's obviously going to help as well. But yeah, big numbers, but it surprises me how big the number is, but it doesn't surprise me that they're calling it a success because it's Sony. This is what they do really with the PlayStation.
It surprised me with the figures considering the pandemic and everything going on, like as you said, with the shortages, and obviously there's huge problems with supplying and people not being able to get them and scalpers and bots and stuff like that. But what really surprises me is how it's outpacing the PlayStation 4 at the same point in its life, because the PlayStation 4 was just a phenomenon that no one really expected coming off of the back of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation. And I think at the end of that generation, there was a lot of talk of like consoles are dead now. I mean, it's like they're not going to sell like they used to. Like, obviously we had the phones and everything, and that kind of tech was taken off. And then it just went against all of that and sold ridiculous amounts, like getting close to what the PlayStation 2 has done, which was just what you would imagine would be unmatchable at this point, but who knows? So yeah, I didn't, especially given the pandemic and everything going on, I did not expect to see those numbers. I knew there was a demand there, but I didn't expect to see it like that.
Yeah, I think it works both ways. I think the pandemic makes it harder to get them around the world and ship them and produce them. But the pandemic has given people a lot more chance to play games.
Good point.
And I know people have lost their jobs. I lost my job in the pandemic. But people, I think, people who have not had the time to play games have maybe fallen back in love with gaming. And I think
that's me for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And some people have been in the UK. We have the furlough scheme, where the government are paying up to 80% of your salary, while your company technically keeps you on, but you're not allowed to work, or you can work part-time. And that's given people free time and maybe some expendable money. So maybe they've purchased one as well last year, and they've seen that this is probably going to go on a little bit longer and decided to take the plunge. So, and gaming's becoming obviously a lot more mainstream year by year.
Yeah.
Look how big the Game Awards are and who they had hosting this year, or last year. So yeah,
it's one of the few industries. It's one of the few industries that's thrived, in the past year. I mean, as you say, everyone's at home. It's the one thing everyone can do. It hasn't halted any release. It didn't really halt that many releases last year. You still had the big games coming out. You mentioned there about the going on furlough. I remember when we first went into lockdown. We went into lockdown like a week before Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. I mean, that was two stars that just aligned for me, and it was just like, wow, yeah, that was pretty much my first month of lockdown right there.
Thinking this is okay. I could do this.
Yeah.
All of us thinking, do you know what? 3 months of this, not a
Yeah.
problem. Then back to work, nice little holiday. Here we are a year later.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Was not expecting it to
No.
go this long, but yeah. Continuing with console sales. Obviously, wanted to speak about the Nintendo Switch as well, because on gamesindustry.biz, they put a thing on here. Nintendo Switch sales overtake 3DS as Nintendo raises forecasts again. They've sold 79.87 million consoles worldwide so far. Now, again, this is something that just kind of blew me away. I saw something online about this today, and it was showing. I want to get into this article in a moment because I saw this article where it had a pie chart, and it showed in Japan, I think it was showing the total of the year of 2020, the game sales, the console sales of the Switch against the PlayStation 4. And it was literally just this tiny sliver of this pie was the PS4. And it was all Switch. I mean, the Switch is dominating everywhere, but in Japan, it is insane how much that is just taken over. So yeah, this article on gamesindustry.biz is from Christopher Dring. Nintendo Switch has eclipsed the lifetime sales of the 3DS in less than 4 years, Nintendo has said. The firm revealed in its latest financial report that 79.87 million Switch devices have been shipped worldwide. The console is currently Nintendo's fifth best-selling machine behind the Nintendo DS, 154 million, the Nintendo Wii, 101.6 million, the Game Boy, 118.7 million, and the Game Boy Advance, 81.5 million. In terms of sell-through, so in the hands of customers, Switch sales are at around 74 million, Nintendo estimates. So, and some other figures here, like including the games, 532.34 million Switch games have been sold since its release in March 2017, putting it just behind the DS at 948 and the Wii at 921. Yeah, there's a bunch of like breakdown here of other stuff as well, which I won't go into, but I keep forgetting, Adam, just how I haven't got a Switch yet, and it's one of the things I just financially haven't got around to it. I had to make a decision last year.
Yeah.
I could have got one, but obviously went for the PlayStation 5. But I'd love to get one at some point because it's just such an amazing console. But I forget just how huge it is. You know, it's insane to compare it for it to overtake the 3DS. I always think of the 3DS of just this titan of a console, like selling wise, you know, how big it was in Japan in that market and worldwide. And the fact that it's overtaken that in its 4 years, absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's one of them where you look at it and you go, why is it selling so much? And when you break it down, the way that I see it is you have the 3DS, which is obviously a handheld console, which sold amazingly well. And the Wii sold amazingly well. But what you've done is combine them. You've given someone a handheld console and a home console. And Nintendo have a very loyal fan base anyway. So they're always going to show good numbers. Whatever Nintendo put out, people will buy. It's got that pedigree and a heritage that's well deserved. But they've got the handheld market and the console market all together. And I think that's why they've seen such good numbers. They've released some good games. We spoke about it on the news with the Joy-Con drift. Obviously, that's probably the one blemish on the console itself. But everything else about the console is just really good. It's not got the best battery life, but it's a monster of a console, and it's a console killer, like in a sense, because it combines two worlds. You know, I don't think Sony or Microsoft could release a handheld better than the Switch, because the games that they play on the Switch are perfect as handheld games. And for me, I'm surprised by the numbers. Don't get me wrong, how quickly it's selling, to get into those numbers, but it was going to go that way. Like, it's the top seller every Christmas. even this year, it was the top selling console in the world was the Switch.
Yeah.
At Christmas time, it outsells everything when it comes to a public holiday because people are buying them for the kids because it's a kid-friendly console, and it's a yeah. I'm not surprised that it's doing so well.
And consistently as well. It's just year on year, and the games as well. Like the good thing about Nintendo games is that they, unlike a lot of other games on other consoles, they don't have this quick peak and then a drop off. They just sell consistently well. Like Mario Kart will always sell. Like,
oh yeah,
you got the Mario All Stars and the Pokemon games, that they're just always going to be consistently selling and shifting software. So, yeah, I mean, it's really interesting as well because Nintendo are a very experimental company in the way that you got to give it to them. They always innovate with each console. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. But they're always very different. They always do something very completely like different to what the other companies are doing. But now you've got to think, with the success of what the Switch has had, they've just got to just stick to this. They've found something. They've found their niche. They've found their corner of the market. As you say, it's this console which is portable that you can also play at home. That's surely got to be now what Nintendo is. You're not going to see the next console they're coming out like, oh, we're going to do something a little bit different. Is like a motion, like no, surely it's got to be this portable console now.
You would think so.
You would this is think Nintendo,
so,
yeah,
but it's Nintendo. The next one will be like, no, this is a fully VR console. Like you could only wear it on your head.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's like, yeah, we did that with the Switch. This is something different. We're doing this new thing now.
I think the thing with Nintendo is that once they release something, they will theme it as much as possible, as many times as possible.
Yeah.
Release as many different versions of it that offer no performance upgrades as possible. And then they'll just release something completely different.
Yeah.
Because I think their argument is if we release something too similar to the Switch, why would people buy it when there's the Switch?
Yeah.
But from a business point of view, you're like, you've struck gold. For the love of God, just make it better. Don't change it.
Yeah, it's it. They've now the concept. All they can do now is improve on the technology. Refine it and go from there. But yeah, I mean, surely it's their best as an actual concept, as a creation. It's their best thing they've made. You can't really argue that.
Oh yeah, like I'd say, from a technological point of view, it definitely is. Like I'm going a weird analogy, but I'm a big Jack Daniels fan. Love a bit of Jack Daniels.
I love a bit of JD as well.
Jack Daniels don't change their recipe. It's as good as it has always been. It is perfect. What they do is they release a few different flavors, a few different options, and if you like them, you dip your toe in them. But the core of it doesn't change. That's what Nintendo need to do. They need the Switch to be the Jack Daniels, and everything else that they release aside from it is just like the fire whiskey Jack Daniels or the apple Jack Daniels or whatever, the honey. Like, don't change the recipe of the Switch. Handheld plus console, easy to use, easy to pick up, consumer friendly. Please keep it like that.
That's it.
The next one will be ridiculous. It'll be a sphere or something like that.
Fun fact: Jack Daniel's actually a bourbon, although it doesn't say it on the label.
Yeah, sorry, a bourbon. Yeah, I'm a
no. I mean,
fan.
like it's
Tennessee whiskey, but
Tennessee
it is a
whiskey.
bourbon. Yeah,
it's a bourbon. It's just that they got some weird legal thing where it has to be called a Tennessee whiskey, but it's a bourbon. Yeah. Okay, on to the next bit of news. Embracer acquires Gearbox in $1.3 billion deal. This is from IGN, and this is Luke Riley with the article. Borderlands developer Gearbox has today announced it will be joining Embracer Group as a wholly owned subsidiary of the Swedish holding company formerly known as THQ Nordic AB. The deal, reportedly worth up to US dollars 1.3 billion, will see Gearbox and its 550 staff in Frisco, Texas, and Quebec, is it Quebec?
Quebec.
Yeah, city become Embracer Group's 7th official operating group. Embracer's existing operating groups include THQ Nordic, Saber Interactive, Koch Media, Deca Games, Amplifier, Game Invest, and Coffee Stain Holding. Lars Wingfor's vision of Embracer as an allied partner group committed to fueling and accelerating the ambitions of a series of decentralized, successful entrepreneurial companies while magnifying the collective value and advantages of diversification across the entire group is the most brilliant strategy and design for short, medium, and long-term success in this industry that I have ever encountered in my 30 years in this industry, said Gearbox co-founder and CEO Randy Pitchford in a statement accompanying the announcement. The feeling at Gearbox is that we are just getting started, and this transaction is not merely a stimulant for the talent of our employee-owned company, but a propellant for the exciting future we have planned. Pitchford will continue as Gearbox boss following the merger. Goes on a little bit more in the article, which you should head over and read that. But what's your views here, Adam? I know you're not too hot on this little acquisition.
No, it just, I don't know. The Embracer Group just seems like a place you go to die as a company. Yeah. You know, they just suck you up and then take bits of you and then spit the rest of you out. And it just, Gearbox is a great company. And you don't want to see it happen to them. But I think it will. I don't think you'll see much from them going forward. And there's not many success stories coming from Embracer Group. So, I don't know. Let's say I'll be cautiously optimistic, but I've got a gut feeling that this is going to be a bad move for Gearbox. And it's okay, Gearbox coming out and singing all their praises, but they've just been bought by them. They can't say anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're not going to turn around and go, well, this is the end of us, guys. Yeah. Like, no, they're going to turn around and say, oh, yeah, this is great. The best thing that's ever happened. Please let me keep my job. Yeah. So you can take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's funny you say about a place to go when you die. It seems to be a place to go after you've died as well, because THQ went through that phase. I don't know if they still do that, where they just kind of buy up a load of dead IP and dead developers and just do nothing with them. So why? Just hold it. And it's just like, what are you doing? Obviously, there's got to be some financial gain from it, but yeah, they just go and swipe up all this dead IP and just do nothing with it.
Well, I think it's because, from a business point of view, in case someone wants the IP becomes popular again, and then someone wants to do a remaster, they have to buy it off them.
Yeah,
they buy it low and sell it high.
That's it.
So it's the same as people that buy people's websites. They buy it in the hope that it'll be something, and then they have to buy it off them. So from that point of view, you can see what they are as a business sense, but that isn't a nice thing. Yeah, they're an eBay seller. Like, that is what they are. They're a scalper. Like, they're just going in, buying stuff low, and then selling it high, when the demand's high. And I don't have respect for that. So hey, listen, they've bought them. It's a lot of money, maybe too much money. Like, for Gearbox, I suppose Borderlands makes them a lot of money, but let's see. Hopefully, Gearbox can be the exception to the rule, because they still have a lot to offer. But we'll see.
We shall see. And we'll also see some new Xbox Game Pass games coming soon. This is on GameSpot, and this is from Eddie McCutch. 7 more games coming soon in September. No? September? What am I talking about?
It's a long time away.
No, I've brought up the wrong article. Wait a minute.
In 2024, you'll see these games on Xbox Game Pass.
I've somehow just pulled up an article from 2017.
I think February is the word.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be there.
So Xbox Game Pass games in February. And the reason I brought this one up is because we are getting, well, not we, because I don't have an Xbox, but I wanted to let the Xbox fans know that you will be getting, among other games, Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, which is coming on February 11th. I'll get to that. Oh, yeah, I'll get to that in a sec. But you're also going to be getting Ghost of a Tale, Project Winter, The Falconeer, Jurassic World Evolution, Stealth Inc. 2, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and Prison Architect. I think actually Prison Architect might already be on there. But the reason I wanted to bring this up, not just to give you the Xbox players an update on what other games are coming, but Final Fantasy 12. If you haven't played Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, you owe yourself as an Xbox player to play this for free, because Final Fantasy 12 is one of the best RPGs ever made, and I feel like it's one of the most overlooked Final Fantasies in the series. It came at the very end of the PlayStation 2's life cycle, the original Final Fantasy 12. This Zodiac Edition is like an updated version that came on a little bit later on, which is a much better version to play. But Final Fantasy 12 has one of the best battle systems. It's my favorite battle system from any Final Fantasy. The only thing that comes close for me would be 7 Remake, which was fantastic. But yeah, they introduced what they call a gambit system for Final Fantasy 12, and what it does basically, it was like the first Final Fantasy that was a kind of open world, similar to like a MMO. I think it was like the MMO team partly from 11 that helped design it. So you can freely explore the world. There's no random battles. You see your enemies, you can go on hunts and attack. But you have this gambit system. And I do think that it's one of those things you either love it or you hate it. But I absolutely loved this system where you could kind of set up these things called gambits. And basically what you do is you can actively, like, manually choose your moves and select to go from character to character, or you can go to the menu and select these kind of decision making stats. It's hard to explain, but you'd basically put in like a tile that would say, if this character drops below 40% health, this character will heal them. If the enemy has this on them, I will cast this. If it's this, and basically you could set this whole thing up and you could enter a battle and then just let it all play out. And you can micromanage it in that if you want, but you could just sit and watch your whole team go to work. It was amazing.
So it's like the Football Manager of the MMO.
Yeah,
well,
pretty much. And for someone that's not into strategy games or anything like that, this was different. It really clicked with me. And yeah, the story is fantastic. Not the best characters compared to, like some of the Final Fantasy before it, but the world's amazing. It's just really, really worth playing. So yeah, go check it out. Don't sleep on this one, guys.
Yeah, and I think going back to the other games as well, I think so some of them I've never even heard of, if I'm being honest. The Falconeer I've never heard of.
Falconeers just came out recently, which looks good.
So, but listen, this is Games Pass. If you've already got it, then you're quids in, aren't you? You've got some great games to play. You either play them or you don't. You give them a try. If you don't like them, it's not cost you any money. So whatever they release is good. Like it's good for the consumer. So if Terry's giving you the review for Final Fantasy 12, go do it. I think I'll give it a go, and I don't really play Final Fantasy, so
absolutely. Maybe Vince will jump on some of the others and give us his verdict on those. And yeah, final bit of news here. This is just a fun one which I saw announced today, which got me really excited as a Sega fan, as a Lego fan. So this is from Eurogamer, Tom Phillips. Sonic the Hedgehog Lego announced. And I love this little one of my loves of Eurogamers, their little puns they put under the title. So they put, "This will go fast." Love it. Love it. So Sonic the Hedgehog is getting an official Lego set featuring Sega's iconic mascot and his Green Hill Zone. The set's design was created by 24-year-old Sega fan Viv Grinnell, who uploaded it to the Lego's Ideas platform. The response to her idea was positive, and Lego then got in touch. How amazing is that? Here's how it looks. And so, yeah, so we've got it says here, so inspired by Sonic Mania's version of the Green Hill Zone, the idea will now be taken forward by Lego and Sega and finalized, a process which often sees a few designs design tweaks before going on sale. So yeah, basically what it is, you've got the loop from Green Hill Zone and a couple of other stuff like the little flowers and the TV, and you've also got Dr. Robotnik in his big kind of metal suit that he has with the spikes coming out and stuff. And you've got one of the ladybug enemies and stuff like that. There's a bunch of the little birds, and obviously Sonic himself. It looks fantastic, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, I want it because I'm a big Sonic fan. And yeah, I got the kids, we got them the Lego Mario stuff when that came out, and Lego Mario is amazing. It's just the kind of stuff that makes you think, why was this not available when I was a kid? So all we had was the basic pirates and knights and stuff like that. Now they got Star Wars and Mario and everything. But yeah, the Mario sets are amazing. But are you into this kind of stuff, Adam?
Do you know what? I am and I'm not. Like, there's very few of them that excite me enough to go out, because Lego is expensive when you go down like the proper set route. So, and trying to explain that to the accountant isn't gonna go down well. The one that I always wanted was the original Batmobile, the big Batmobile you could get that was like this.
That's the 89 one, the Batman 89.
Yeah, the 89 Batman 89 one. That looks incredible. I love Sonic, so this would probably be one of them that I would be interested in. And I think it'll be a really fun build. You know, it'll look great. It's a good piece to have somewhere like behind you.
Absolutely, yeah, on the shelf.
Yeah, and it's not going to be too big. So, which by the looks of it is going to be a nice, decent size. So it's easy to display. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. And how good that this is someone from the community who's designed this.
Amazing.
I wonder what their prize is. Do they get paid for this, or do they get?
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a little paycheck.
I know, a little bit of a royalty from that going. You're making, I don't know. I guess this set's going to be what? Does it have a price yet? Probably not.
I didn't see a price there because it's literally just been announced. I don't know if you can order it.
Well, I imagine the full set will be over £100.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So,
but this is in June. It will be the 30th anniversary of Sonic. So we'll probably hear something closer to then. It says on the article. So we shall see. But what a world we live in, where we've got Mario and Sonic Lego. Official Lego sets, just unbelievable. My mind can't take it. My mind can't take it. I need it now.
Yeah. If this lockdown continues through the summer, we know what you'll be building.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on to the Death Star, and then finally,
the Death Star.
Oh,
that's like the Pierre de Resistance, isn't it? The Death Star is the thing to build.
The ultimate, the Death Star, but I think the ultimate is the Millennium Falcon. Because the Millennium Falcon is the biggest, most expensive piece. That's the dream, Adam. That's the dream, is to one day build that with the kids and then display it hanging from a ceiling and just never touch it again.
The amount of care you'd have to do hanging that up.
Oh, can you imagine just dropping it like in Spider-Man when he drops the Death Star? Oh, that bit, every time I see it, can't handle that. Can't handle that at all.
I'll tell you what, if this channel picks off and gets successful, you can build it on the channel. We can expense it.
We'll do some Lego ads.
I know, yeah, that'll be one. Lego, if you want to send us all the expensive kits, Terry will build them all.
I'll build them, review them, I'll keep them. I don't mind. But yeah, that brings us to the end of today's Shifty Crab News Break. So join us next week, which will be on Monday, where it will be Vince and Adam bringing you all the news which came at the end of the week. So until then, I have been Terry Jeffs. This has been Adam Very. Say goodbye, Adam.
Goodbye, Adam.
And we shall see you soon. Until then, keep safe and keep gaming.